Hello, I'm Mercury, and my posting schedule has been quite a disaster. Between midterms and trying to post every single day because of Inktober, I haven't posted much besides, well, my Inktober. But hey, I'm still here making other content, and today we are doing something I haven't done in quite a while, a random creature generator. I've been wanting to do another one for a while, and I figured this would be a good one to get me back on track before November begins. It should be easier for me to post more without me posting more, because Inktober is taking up most of my time that I would be spending making on videos. I have a lot of videos in progress and that I can't wait to share with you, so like and subscribe if you like what I have to offer. But now it's time for a brand new creature. With all that said, let's see what we're starting with, which just happens to be 2 to 3 creature features, aka my second favorite thing that's on this list, which I just realized it says 2. It's supposed to be 3, so I'm gonna have to fix that later. But with that said, it's time for our next option. So let's spin that wheel and see what we get now. Come on, let's go. Yes, random environment. So, for those who do not know, random environment is my favorite thing on this. It is a top tier selection, and it's just so pretty much I'm getting my second favorite selection of 2 to 3 random creature features, and my first favorite, which is a random environment. So this is a great thing to come back on. I'm so excited to see what environment and features I get. So let's generate that environment and hope for the best. So starting with our environment, we get a city, which is good. A lot of creatures I've been making don't really interact with societies, but I'm going to do something special to decide on society because I have a lot of them. You'll see how I do that later. But it's feature time, so we got no time to lose. Come on, I'm so excited. So our first feature is Dineural. Whoa. Dineural, yeah. So I'll I'll talk about all these later, but Dineural, let's see what we get next. Okay. Come on, let's get something I haven't done before. Spike projection. Like a porcupine. Okay, that's fun. Definitely new. I don't think I've given that many spikes to many creatures either. Besides maybe spines and stuff. But let's see what we have last up on our feature list. Exoskeleton. Okay. This is gonna be fun. So, back to environment, which I'm going to give you guys a little sneak peek into the future videos I'm making. So I have a number generator, 1 through, wait, where's my generator? Oh, my device wouldn't connect to the internet, so I had to use the one that was somehow connected to the internet to do this, and that device didn't have a screen recorder, so how lovely. Well, I've put a screenshot of the number I randomly generated. Now, 11 means nothing to you, nor does 56. But to me, I have made a total of 56 different societies, so I randomly generated this number to pick the society we were basing it on. I'm using city as a placement for a society because the environment generator doesn't have anything like a town or stuff like that. The society I got for 11 was Sealkie, or a name that I'm going to butcher, of Encantados. Now, let's talk Sealkie. Now, Sealkies aren't the most known, but I would say quite a few people who know about mythology and stuff know about Sealkies, even if they don't know them by name. Sealkies are usually women who use seal skins to either become a seal-like mermaid or a full-on seal. Now, I'm currently using Sealkie as kind of a placement name for merfolk that their other half are mammals and not fish, which that leads into the Encantado, which another snidbit because no one knows what that is really, and is a creature from the Amazon that's a spirit that takes the form of a dolphin, aka freshwater dolphin, sometimes a mix of both. And personally, I feel like leaning into the cold Arctic aspect of the Sealkie, and because I got the Sealkie, this will most likely be an aquatic creature. Now, to go over this very briefly, because I've got more to cover, the colder things are, the bigger they are generally. For example, grizzly bear to polar bear are. This isn't always the case, but it is usually because the bigger something is, the more area they have to take in the sun so they can stay warmer. Anyway, I want to spend some more time talking about our features and why the species developed them. Our first feature was diurnal, which means active during the day. Okay, so there's not much more to that. Pretty much the opposite of nocturnal, but since diurnal is considered the norm, we never really talk about things being diurnal, just the things being nocturnal, because that's seen as the opposite. But as I'm reliving my horrors seeing these features again of spike projection and exoskeleton, so spike projection isn't the right word, but that's what I put on here months ago, so that's what we got. But it means animals with spikes that can use them as a tool in some sort of way. An animal that can shoot spikes is a porcupine. But no other animals really shoot their spikes, which is why I'm changing it to just saying use them as a tool, though I don't know how to shorten that now. But other animals use spikes as a tool. For example, hedgehogs, stingray, sea urchins, cone snail, and the pufferfish. So lucky for me, we have a lot of animals to reference that live underwater. And oh my wish, we have exoskeleton. Having an exoskeleton, to give you the most basic description, means that your bones are on the outside, most commonly seen in insects and arachnids. End my suffering now. But to be fair, I am being dramatic because crabs, lobsters, shrimps, and all have exoskeletons, aka crustaceans have exoskeletons. But it's having bones on the outside and can also shoot spikes while living in cold water. Keyword cold. Anyway, it's time to talk about my process of making this hell species. Also, link in the descriptions for all my resources. It's been a while since I've had those. I don't know much about crustaceans, so I had to do a lot of extra research, so I have a lot of extra links and stuff. Back to talking about the hell species. So my favorite thing's on the wheel, and I was so happy this happened. Now, while figuring out how I want this creature to work so I can show off all of its features while it not being a mess was a problem, it was the least of my issues. When I said I didn't know what to draw, I mean it. I don't know if I wanted to lean more into the crustacean or fish, but I had to lean into crustacean because fish can't have exoskeletons. Or I don't know. There was really nothing else for me to go into, especially since these things are stuff that I know less about. In fact, this part of the script, up to this point, was written before I did the drawing because I didn't know how to start, and I didn't want to feel bad for not working on this video and miss another week of uploads. But at least there is only so much script you can write before drawing the script is about, and that time is now. After I gather myself 20 billion reference pictures. I decided to do a lobster, because as I said earlier, fish do not have exoskeletons, much to my disappointment. I will be fair. I did know they didn't, but something wished that one of the abominations found in the deep sea that I don't know much about did. I was disappointed. Lobster, and why lobster? Specifically, I could have chose a crab. Well, lobster was the only thing that showed up when I looked up cold water crustaceans. Sometimes the choice gets made for you, and I desperately needed that in this situation. Now, I've never drawn any crustacean before. Why I'm so sad that I couldn't do a fish, especially since I'm making this video low on time. And now I have to draw a lobster multiple times. But I tried my best, and so far I think I'm doing well. But most likely you aren't here to listen to my woes, you're here for lobster, so let's talk lobster. Meet the samurai shrimp. But wait, didn't I just say he was a lobster? Well, he is. But let's not act like this is the only species misidentified by humans. And samurai lobster doesn't sound as cool or just good in my opinion. They are called that due to they're called samurai shrimp due to their short yellow antennae on the top of their head and the sharp spikes on their exoskeleton and redder colorations compared to other lobsters. They live deep in the Arctic oceans, often near silky sediments, often being the bottom feeders. They are often eating up any trash left by the Sealkies, making the settlements cleaner. And while they don't clean up everything because they are still wild animals, they are deemed as honorary cleanup crew, and unlike most lobsters, they are out during the day, eating whatever they can find. But these are not the most interesting part about the samurai shrimp. The most interesting part is what happens when they molt. Samurai shrimp, like other lobsters and crustaceans in general, have an exoskeleton, and the necessary part of all things that have an exoskeleton is molting. Now, that causes a problem due to this lobster for living in a very harsh and very cold environment. Not having a shell is often life-threatening in more ways than one for a normal lobster. So their molting process is different, where their next shell is almost completely developed before they shed the first one. Now, this interesting process is compared to little, but it's kind of like how ice can split rocks. The new shell developing puts a lot of pressure on the old, and that causes the old shell to eventually burst, shooting its spikes like grenade fragments. This is very dangerous for many reasons, so Sealkies go around picking up near ready to molt lobsters, putting them into a place where no one can get hurt. Fun fact, while the common language also often calls them samurai shrimp, in the Sealkies' native language, their name for it can be translated to something close to exploding crabfish. This is rarely a problem for the Sealkies, but it does occasionally cause damage to their settlements. So, I do actually like how my creature came out, but oh, is it still a struggle, and I'm still gonna complain about it. But I'm glad I did this. I never knew much about crustaceans, and I learned a lot of new things, and I had to research a lot of new things, so there's more references than normal. But hey, maybe you will learn something new. I know I did. And while this isn't my longest script, but it got close, so thank you everyone who stayed here to this point. Thank you. I hope you have a great day or night wherever you are, or whenever you hear this. Stay safe, and hopefully you should see me next week, or, well, tomorrow, because I'm still posting stuff for Inktober. And maybe, if you follow along, there might be more lobsters in our future. I hope for my sanity there is not, though. Just kidding. Bye.